Okay, welcome back to BSE Houston with me, Looney Loser 17. My apologies, I actually meant to record this a couple of days ago, and then I got the sad personal news that my grandmother passed away. She lived a good long life, so nothing to feel too bad for me about. But it did mean that I didn't really have the motivation to record for a couple of days. So it's actually been a couple of days since I've opened this save as well. So currently we're fairly late in the season. Currently fourth in the league in a sort of messy, like three-way battle right around the last two promotion spots, as third, fourth, and fifth are all on 44 points through 23 of 31 matches. And I believe I have to play both of them because I can see I can play I have to play GAFA, and I don't remember having played Round Rock yet. So what has happened? It's middle of January now, so it's been about 2 months. Because the last match that I talked about in the first video, where I welcomed you to this save, and thank you to everyone who's watched that video and maybe commented on it. Sorry, I did sort of ramble about the database a bit before I got into the actual save, so a special thank you to all of those who endured through me rambling about the database before I really got into introducing the team. So we picked up from where we left off with a 2-0 win over GP Gunners. Goal in each half. 40th minute goal from Craig, and then a 90 plus 4 minute insurance goal, which was pretty much like right at the end from Thacker. Follow that up with a 1-0 home win over Real Irving. 4th minute goal from Craig stood up as the only scoring in that match. Then we went away to America Academy. Again, a 2-0 win. Both goals scored before halftime, Castillo and Craig. Safe to say at that point, Luna's on a little bit of a scoring drought. And considering he's my top scorer, that's a cause for concern, which came to fruition in the following match. A 1-0 away loss to Baton Rouge Capitals. They scored just before halftime. Sorry, throat suddenly got a little dry there. After that, we had a 1-1 home draw with Texas Spurs. They'd scored right before halftime. Luna finally breaks the scoring drought, which had gone back about a month and a half, or actually more like 2.5 months at that point, because Luna had not scored since the beginning of October, with an 84th minute equalizer. Follow that up with a 1-1 draw away to, there's Round Rock. So actually, yes, I have played them. 1-1 away draw with Round Rock. They got an early goal. Luna again strikes late with a 90th minute equalizer to secure a big point. Follow that up with a 2-0 home win over Memphis City. This is the first match since the new signings were able to actually register. We got a pair of second half goals from my strikers, Ronald and Luna. Ronald's name is one that, even if you watch the first video, you wouldn't be familiar with. More on him in a moment. Follow that up with a 1-1 away draw with Tulsa Athletic. A rather frustrating draw from what I remember. Both goals scored 7 minutes apart in the second half. They scored first, Castillo with the equalizer off the bench, as neither striker played well in that match. And then in the most recent match, a huge win over the league leaders, Memphis Express, which actually knocked them out of the league lead. 3-1 win at home. It did help that they went down to 10, but we were already 3-0 up by that point. Luna with a brace, and then Craig added a goal as well, all in an 8-minute span as we went 3-0 up. They did get a consolation goal early in the second half, but too little too late. I did tone down, if I remember right, a bit in the second half of that match, because the next match actually is the Woosnam Cup first round match with Miami Beach CF. They're another team, 7th tier of this database, which is the same tier I'm in. They're just in a different league. But this is going to be 4 days after that match with Memphis Express. And then 3 days after that, I get the new league leaders, Arkansas Wolves, also at home. Since the board's expectation is that I merely be competitive in the Woosnam Cup, I'm actually rotating as heavily as I can for this match. So I've got as many of my starters as I can fresh for the Arkansas Wolves match. Just debating here which of these matches I show these goals from. It's been long enough since I've seen some of them that I don't remember them too well. So I'll go with the first match after against GP Gunners. Clayton, cross. Craig rises over everyone doing that header, heads it home. Cannot throw. How that ball stayed in bounds, I do not know. Headed to Thacker. Thacker hammered it home. So both wingers on the score sheet in that match. And then, since there hasn't been a whole lot of goals, let's go watch. Sorry, random yawn there. The match where we've had the most effort, most goals. So Ronald ahead to Luna. Ronald is a striker. Back to the playing Luna early on there. No. Change. Craig heads it back in the middle. Both strikers are there. Luna's the one that gets to it. 2-0. Out wide, back of the cross. Craig's to do that. That's 3-0, and then off corner here. Their guy rises highest to head that ball home. Makes it 3-1, but we had already secured the points by that point. So at the time that I made the last video, we had not signed anybody yet. The registration window didn't open until the end of December. So while I signed a couple of these guys in advance of that, they couldn't register to actually play for me until December, or the late December. So the first signing we were able to make in the save, Polk Lewis, 21-year-old American defender. Really, he's more of a center back. A bit more pace, so shouldn't be too much in the back. At least the pace and acceleration aren't too bad for this level. Defending leaves a bit to be desired, but I actually stole him away from a guy in our league, Celtic FCA, who are a team down bottom half of the league. He is really like my third choice center back, but I'm not embarrassed having him on the pitch either. 1 start, 2 sub appearances, 6.73 average rating for us so far. And then the big one. This is Ronald, 19-year-old Brazilian striker. He does count for one of my 3 foreign players. I had some competition for his signature. He complements Luna rather well, because Luna's really more of a deeper lying striker, which is why I was in a way rather impressive that he scored as many as he had. But Ronald's even better, actually. Pace acceleration, pretty decent for this league. 12 finishing, so I actually have a striker that can finish now. And again, random yawn. Only 5'11", so a little on the short side, only 5 jumping, but 13 heading, so when he gets his head to the ball, he knows what to do with it. 1 goal, 1 assist, 1.46 XG in 3 matches, averaging a 7 rating. So he has played well fairly well so far. He did have a bit of a stinker against Tulsa Athletic where he only rated a 6.4, but he put up 7.3s in both of his other 2 matches. So hopefully, guy I'll have around for a while. And then, really not liking my options at backup keeper, and with Flores attracting some interest, Flores being my starting keeper for those who missed the first video. I definitely needed a better backup option. Merrick was the guy who ended up getting in. Not the greatest keeper, but he's better than I had for a backup keeper. He had been with Coyotes FC, which is actually a league above us. Hadn't played particularly badly for them. I was a little surprised that they let him come to us on a trial. And I've got like a number of other guys that I've extended trial offers to. And I also have a contract offer in for this Marshall Becker to try to add some quality to my defensive midfield, because I'm not really all that happy with what I've got there. And I actually had some anxious moments as Aguirre, who's my best defensive mid, had like 5 teams put in bids to try to lure him away from us. And fortunately, he opted to stay with us for the time being. But as you can maybe see, I've done some pretty extensive rotation here for the cup match. Castillo's even going to start. As for one night, I'll go back to the sort of 4-2-2-1-1 that I was using before I got Ronald into the fold. So leading scorers with the club on the season, Luna with 13 leads the way. Craig with 8 is second. Castillo third with 7. At least a couple of Castillos are from the penalty spot. Interestingly, Zion, one of my center backs, is fourth with 3, and nobody else has more than 2 so far. Hopefully once Ronald settles in a bit more, he'll start banging them in on a regular basis. As far as assists go, Craig and Thacker, my 2 wingers, both have 5. Not a huge surprise, especially with all the goals that Luna has scored. Speaking of Luna, he is one of 3 guys along with Zhang Jingfeng and Lukic, who's another winger, all with 3 assists apiece. Zion, Menarez, and Che and Morris, actually. So a wide range of positions there, all with 2. Couple of fullbacks, center back, and my technically was second choice striker, though really he was like 3rd or 4th option that I for who I wanted to play up there. So average ratings on the season. Morton, who emergency filled in a match, I don't remember which match this was, put up a 7.6 though in that appearance. So he's top rated. He's actually going to play in this next match as well in the cup. Behind that, Luna, unsurprisingly, 7.34. Craig, 7.18. Jingfeng, who just came back recently from injury, 7.04. Flores, the keeper, 7.03. 18 goals conceded in 27 matches, so not a bad keeper for this level. Morris, one of my other starting center backs, 7.03. And Ronald, in his first couple of appearances, averaging a 7. Are my guys that are playing the best. If you look down here at the bottom of the players who aren't playing well, you see why I want that defensive mid, because Cantu and Clayton, 2 of my more regular defensive mids, are the 2 worst players who've seen the pitch as far as average rating goes. And they've both been on the pitch a fair bit. So that's where we stand as far as how performances have been. And of course, Open Cup, yeah, we knocked out the second qualifying round. I talked about that in the previous video. The Phil Woosnam League Cup, that's just for the Netflix tier teams. So Netflix League 2, Netflix League 1, and the Netflix Championship. So 5th, 6th, 7th tier sides in the US. So here's the bigger picture of how the league looks. 8 matches left, so I'm pretty much safe from any possible talk of relegation spots. Considering we were supposed to be mid-table, that's encouraging. I would like to see more of those draws turned into wins. Because if you look, 8 draws like we have is actually tied for the most with a few other sides. Turn a couple more of those into wins, we'd be up contending for the title instead of just contending for promotion. Financially, Amateur side, remember, so nobody's getting paid, myself included. 97,000 right now, so we're doing decently. We're turning a profit at least most months at present. Board expectation. Well, this is hard to really account for because it doesn't take into account like prize money. So, yeah, this is what I was running when I have Ronald. So sort of disregard the personnel, but this is really the sort of tactic I am running now that I've got Ronald in. The game calls it like a 4-4-2 with 2 defensive mids, which is a nice, easy way to describe it instead of a 4-2-2-2. But when I have my normal guys in here, Luna will play this sort of target forward, while Ronald plays the advanced forward. So that's what the tactic looks like. And I think I've pretty well covered everything as far as the new updates go. When I update next might be a little fun, because about 2 months would be the end of the league season, first season in the save. I'm not sure what might lie beyond that, if anything. Being that the season, I don't think they'd want us, because I know there's some leagues where there's stuff beyond this point. I'm not sure, but the league rules don't show that for this league, so that may be it. And then whatever happens with the League Cup, that's it, and it ends up being like 4 months off before the next season starts. I'm not sure. So presumably the next update will be like end of the season in about 2 months' time. Depending on where it lines up with when I'm streaming, I'm all in, because I play the entirety of this save on Twitch. Link to that, my Twitch channel, will be in the description below the video, along with links to like the American database, and this is the Zealand skin. The links to those will be in the description below as well. So yeah, I'm not totally sure what to expect here a couple months time, but so yeah, probably how far beyond when the season ends I get before the next update video may depend on where that comes in a Twitch stream. So just so you're aware, this may not be like right after the season that the video gets done. But thank you for watching this video. I appreciate all the views, and I hope you're having a good day, and we will see you next time here at BSE Houston.